Hello, everyone. Welcome to the in-group panel discussion. The topic today is how will generative AI transform the relationship between real estate marketplaces and agents? This event is sponsored by Frisbee. For 15 years, Frisbee has been creating software that helps marketplaces build personalized experiences at scale globally. I'm Konstantin Kalabin, Strategy Director at the in-group. I'll be a host and moderator for today's session. I hope you're ready to hear a panel discussion led by the in-group principal, Jonathan Turpin. Joining him on our virtual stage today are Paolo Sabatinelli, Chief Product Officer at Immobiliare, and Stefan Gunnarsson, founder and CEO of PropTex, that's XX. Also on the program today is Tanguy Talon, VP Global Sales for Frisbee. Up first, we'll have a short video from our sponsor, followed by the panel itself. We'll then briefly hear from Tanguy, and we'll wrap things up with questions and answers at the very end. You should be able to access Q&A function at the bottom of your Zoom screen. So please, when you have questions, type them into that section as the webinar progresses, so others can upload them rather than repeat them. Now, welcome Paolo, welcome Stefan, Jonathan, Tanguy, and of course, welcome to our audience. Here's the brief video from our sponsor Frisbee first.
Hello. So welcome, Stefan and Paolo. There's been a lot of discussion recently of AI real estate marketplaces, particularly many of the conferences going on and so on. A lot of that focus has been on search, but today we're going to pick up a slightly different area. We're going to look at how generative AI in particular can help the relationship between marketplaces and agents. I'm going to kick off by asking Stefan and Paolo, maybe Paolo go first, to give us the kind of brief 30-second kind of summary of you, and also give me an example of what you're most kind of proud of within the generative AI space that your business has been doing.
Hi everyone. I'm Paolo Sabatinelli, CPO at Immobiliare.it. We are a tech company based in Italy, and we build marketplaces for real estate vertical. We operate in Italy with the brand Immobiliare.it, but also in Spain, Greece, and Luxembourg, and we manage also the luxuryestate.com platform. So we build both the website and the mobile apps for the buyers, but also we provide a robust CRM for the real estate agents. So talking about AI, so far we have successfully developed 2 AI-based use cases. As you were mentioning, focus on improving the experience of the agents. The first one is about introducing a way for recognizing the content of the images and optimizing also the images. So allowing the agents to reduce the time and the effort on tagging images and automatize this process. While the second use case is about improving the accuracy of measuring the quality of the leads and their propensity of making a purchase. And we transform all this information into a quality score that we provide to the agents in order to allow them to prioritize better the high value leads versus the low value leads.
Brilliant. And Stefan, can you also give us a similar introduction, please?
Sure. So my name is Stefan Gunnarsson, CEO and founder of PropTex, a software company that specializes in computer vision and generative AI for real estate. So what I'm the most proud of is the fact that 5 years ago, we saw the general use of AI being a matter of time. It was not about if it would happen. And imagine if we had a home search experience assisted by our preferences that could make suggestions just like Netflix does or Instagram. That's exactly what we're building in PropTex.
Brilliant. So it's notable that you both have a strong focus on images. Is there a particular reason for that, kind of starting in that space rather than, being focused on text? Maybe Paolo, you can pick that up first.
Yes, there are mainly three reasons. First of all, in our marketplace, so for real estate domain is a highly visual domain. So we see that our users often make decisions based on the property images. So that's why the AI-enhanced images can improve the first impression and the engagement of the users. So second is that the images are a very efficient channel that provide a vast amount of data quickly. So it's our interest on being able to capture all this information and transform in information that both the users but also the agents can understand. Third is a matter of improving the overall quality of our platform, which is related to the overall perception of our marketplace. So having a better quality of images can drive a better user experience for our users.
Brilliant. And Stefan, for you, can I ask a slightly different question? Have you got a kind of strong view on the performance of what you do and how it actually impacts user behavior and impacts the kind of results in terms of lead generation and so on for the agents?
Yeah, so we have data currently showing a normal 2-minute listing viewing that you see normally going as high as 20-minute
Wow.
engagement. So just by allowing people to engage with the listing increases that engagement. We don't have data yet on the increase in conversions, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. And kind of coming back to the original question to Paolo, is there something special about images that you kind of centered your business there, or was that just the opportunity you saw at the time?
Well, it's a mix. On one side, we see high value on investing on these capabilities behind images. On the other side, also the technology behind is quite, let's say, I don't want to say a commodity, but it's solid. And also is, let's say, easier to find external services or to build an internal team that is capable to build these models behind image recognition or computer vision. So it's a mix of factors, the reason why also we started from this use case.
Brilliant. So as you both look forward, to what you might be able to do in the future, is there something, are there particular areas that you see as really big opportunities, even bigger than what you're doing at the moment, maybe, in terms of the relationship between the marketplace and the agent? And also, is there other low-hanging fruit you think that marketplaces, should be able to access? Maybe start with Stefan on this one.
Yeah, I think the biggest opportunity here that is untapped right now is the generative AI linking into the transaction itself, so allowing for the valuations, which technically could be doable soon. So that's where I would see the biggest opportunity. It's all going that route in any case.
You mean a kind of a stronger version of automated valuation models?
Correct.
Yeah, and how you use them to drive activity on the site and so on. Interesting. Correct. And is there any other low-hanging fruit you see that marketplaces, you feel can be getting at pretty quickly in the agent relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So the data that is being extracted from the behavior of the user can definitely be used. And this is what we are building right now, is to allow the marketplace and the agent to benefit from understanding the user and what they like before engaging. That's a low-hanging fruit.
So, and is that equivalent to what Paolo is doing on propensity modeling and understanding, you know, what the likely actions are of users?
Yeah, I guess so.
So Paolo, can I ask you a little bit about your propensity modeling? I mean, again, do you have a sense of you know, how that's improved lead generation for agents? Would you have any kind of stats or any user behavior changes you've seen as a result of the work you've done?
During our tests, for those agents who are already capable to see these quality score coming from the potential buyers, we saw that they are more inclined to start from the messages coming from the power users rather than the less power users. So we see, I mean, we can track these behaviors directly in our CRM. So, I mean, this is going exactly to the direction and to the problem that we want to solve. No, often agents receive dozens of messages or calls every day, and it's a problem to being effective on giving the right quality of service for all of them. So we want to just to help them to properly prioritize these list of potential buyers. Telling them which are the top ones that needs to be managed as soon as possible.
And can you just clarify what you mean by power users there?
Yeah, for example, a power users is a profile, so a users who is very active on our platform, who looking the pattern behind the different actions and behaviors, looks really interested on buying a house in a short-term period. Also, for example, we have multiple events that we can use to capture this behavior. For example, the number of listings that you are saving, the number of times that you are looking at the same listing,
Yeah,
or the number of times that you are sharing this listing with others. So these are all ingredients that we are using to calculate and to understand in which kind of profile or persona you are. And the power users are the ones who have a higher percentage on being interested on purchase listings in a short term.
and have you got a good response from your agents now that you've introduced this technology? Have they noticed it, and are they kind of engaging with it strongly?
Yes, I mean, this is what the agents already do, but in a, let's say, analog way. So from their sixth sense, no, or coming from their experience, and we are just digitizing this process, helping them to increase the probability of capturing the real power users rather than the not ones. So, yeah, I mean, we are doing nothing else that improving an existing process using more data to support it.
Yeah. So moving kind of slightly on to a different area, you know, it's notable that agents are often poor in responding to leads, and buyers can also be kind of poor in responding to agents. Do you think there is a good space for generative AI to improve that kind of part of the relationship between agents and agents and their clients? And, you know, because traditional chatbots haven't been kind of very effective here. Do you see Gen AI changing that? Maybe Stefan, if you could kind of pick that up first.
Yeah, sure. I mean, naturally, if a home buyer is not answering an agent, you could assume that he's not interested enough to take the time to at least engage. But what we believe is that what we're seeing in the data is that if you allow these home buyers to engage, you empower them so that they can visualize the projects themselves as if they were living there, it helps the journey. Same thing happened with 360 tours, etc. The engagement just gets much better.
Yeah. And do you in any way create conversations with the consumers, or do you simply let them have the tools to play with the?
Yeah, so that's interesting. This is why we're focusing on the imagery, and we all are now, because the truth is within the imagery. You can do so much with it. There's so much data available there, and we've just started the journey. We're scratching the surface there. So there's a lot of data that we can extract, both from the behavior during the listing viewing by the user, and matching that with what data we're extracting from the listing, from the imagery that is within the listing originally. So yes, that's down the road for sure.
Okay, and Paolo, when you look at the relationship between marketplaces and agents and consumers, do you think generative AI is going to allow you to have a stronger role in that set of conversations? Because at the moment, often marketplaces simply hand off the conversations to the agents. Does it allow the marketplace to be more involved in that conversation?
Yes, absolutely. To me, this is the most relevant area where we have the biggest problem, but also where there is the biggest opportunity, but also probably is the most complex to, let's say, to solve, talking about the problem. So I believe that, on the contrary of standard chatbots, which are, let's say, which need also a lot of effort to be developed, but also maintained, Gen AI-based chatbot or assistant could offer better experience, but also reduce the development cost. I see that there are four main, let's say, benefit from heading a Gen AI-based use case in this domain. The first one is about personalization. So Gen AI can tailor the conversation based on the user's profile and the user's behavior. Gen AI bot can be more proactive rather than standard chatbot. So they can, let's say, initiate a conversation and also recommend other listings rather than the ones that have been contacted. Gen AI bot are, let's say, can be easily integrated with other systems within the marketplace. CRM, the platform, but also other tools that we are using internally. And obviously, let's say, a bot can be available 24 hours per 7. So in summary, the idea is to create and offer to the agents not a chatbot, but a virtual assistant that can be trained and can be tailored around the needs and the habits, not only of the end users, but also the habits of the agents.
And the beauty of that is it just pulls the marketplace back into the conversation where and as it's relevant as well.
Exactly.
I love that vision. That's a fantastic vision. Marketplaces are all about money. Do you think there are any immediate revenue opportunities that you can see out of generative AI for marketplaces? Stefan, as an outsider, as you look in, what are the opportunities you see for marketplaces to make money in this area reasonably quickly?
Yeah, so as we've been saying earlier, enriching and understanding the user, creating that profile that has value to the agent ultimately. That's immediate ROI, and we are seeing that ourselves.
And so you mean using Gen AI to deepen the profile and then using that for much more effective matching and so on, or are you thinking of other things?
Correct. Yeah, no. Understanding for once, before engaging who you're dealing with. Take an example. Somebody comes on a listing and starts telling the listing directly, put a bunk bed in this bedroom, gives you an indication that that person has 2 kids, needs a school in the area, needs security around, has needs around that particular behavior.
Yeah.
So that has value. So that's an immediate low-hanging fruit ROI that I see. Yeah.
Brilliant. And Paolo, where do you expect to make some money, if you expect to make some money in the near term out of generative AI?
Well, I have a different vision. As a, let's say, owner of the marketplace, the impact of this new technology is a way to improve the core activities of the agents. So it's about improving the quality of the contents, improving the relationship with the buyers, also analyzing the insights to invest more to our marketplace. So we don't want to monetize on these services. These are the must-have for a platform like our platform, because we believe that improving these aspects are going to improve the reputation of the platform. As a consequence, they will contribute to improve the user experience. So in cascade, this is going to accelerate the network effect, which is behind any marketplace, also behind our marketplace. So at the end of the story, better quality and better interaction means also higher competition between agents, and a higher competition means higher investment from the agents in our marketplace. So that's the reason why we don't want to monetize directly on these improvements, because let's say the return of this investment will come after, on the longer term.
So it's a powerful enabler. We've got lots of good questions coming in, so we're going to turn to those in a couple of minutes. Just so one last question from me, going back to the title of this webinar. You know, when we look back in 3 to 5 years, are we going to look back and say, wow, you know, generative AI has really changed the way we work with agents, the relationship, etc.? Or are we going to just look back and say, oh no, it was another one of those kind of overhyped technologies, and we've really not got that much out of it? What's your gut feeling on this? Maybe Stefan, kick off on that one.
Yeah, interesting question. So AI is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. And it's going to get better and better. The question, I think, is just how you implement AI within your business and you stay relevant. So the users are expecting marketplaces to actually start to offer these things. It is being widely used. So a marketplace that is not adopting or testing, at least, is not staying relevant in today's space. So to answer your question, overhyped technology, it's gonna be hyped, but definitely not overhyped, I guess.
Brilliant. And Paolo, how do you feel? Do you think you're going to look back in 3 years' time and Immobiliare is going to have a very different kind of relationship because of Gen A with its agents?
No, not so much.
Well, a skeptic.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the story, our role is to connect supply and demand in the most efficient way. For the real estate sector, the role of the agent is crucial and will continue to be crucial. So what we do is simply to digitize as much as possible the process that connects supply and demand. And this new technology or any other new technology is going to accelerate this process of digitizing rather than disrupting the process itself. So at the end of the story, we see, I mean, we believe that AI capabilities can contribute to two things: improve the efficiency and the productivity of the agents. So Gen AI can automate some routine tasks and also analyze data that human can miss. And second, allow the agents to reduce the operative costs and to focus on their core skill set. So they don't have any more to reply to emails or scheduling events, but they need just to focus on the core activities of their job that AI cannot replicate.
Brilliant. Okay, well, we're going to go to questions in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, before that, we're going to have a very brief presentation from our sponsor, FreeSpeak. And Tanguy's just joined us, and he's going to talk about how Gen AI can enhance lead flow and conversations with consumers around the lead flow. So we're going to hand over now, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Thanks a lot. And yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation. I think that I'll be brief, as always, try to be as insightful as possible, but there's a lot of connection with what we heard so far, so give me 2 seconds. I'm going to jump on some, again, I will provide some slides, but it won't be long. And let me dive straight in. So a very high-level way of presenting a journey, but basically there's a search, there's a lead or engaging on a property, and then there will be like conversation and connection happening down the road. We know that from marketplace point of view, yes, you want to work on how to improve the search or to improve the matching, but also how to detect the intention and the stage of the lead that we discussed a lot, and how you can, as a marketplace, engage, step in this conversation flow. And this is obviously Gen AI can help you on these 2 pillars somehow. And today I want to give slightly more example and detail on the second one, right? So how basically generative AI can help you as a marketplace to create this personalized engagement at scale with your agents, potentially also with the buyers. And I want to deep dive slightly more on how you can do that. So if we stay on this journey and if we look at a conversation, right, there's a connection happening. You see that as the marketplace. Okay, a buyer engage with an agent. The first thing you can look at, and that is, I guess most of you are doing, is looking at the context of this connection. When is it happening? What is the media? Is it a phone call? Is it an email? Is it any kind of chat? What it is about, the listing, the price, the localization, how long is the conversation, or how quickly is answered, and etc. The context of the conversation. You don't really need Gen AI at this stage. Where you can go a step further is actually look at the content of the conversation. So basically what is said between the lead and the agent, the buyer and the agent. So you're no longer on the metadata of the conversation that you can check quite easily somehow. You need to go into the detail of what's said. What is the topic? What is the sentiment of the conversation? What is the output? And this is where obviously Gen AI is very important. So it can read the text, or you can transcribe a voice into text and then gets understanding of what is said. And as a marketplace, since you have thousands of conversations, you definitely need help to get there. But at this stage, you're still quite spot on, right? So you look at one single event, trying to get the most of it. What is key also is to look at all the things that happened earlier. And I will connect with the power user that Paolo mentioned, like, okay, what is this, what has done this buyer earlier? So obviously like everything on your website, but also like at which stage of the research, is it also a seller lead? What the level of urgency? Is it someone looking at the same kind of property with the idea on the price and etc.? Or is it someone popping in every Sunday to look at this beautiful villa that we'll never buy? So, and there, again, Gen AI will help you because there's so many data. It will help you cut through the noise and build these trends and this logic and help you have a more granular somehow audiences than just a power user, but maybe, okay, it's a motivated first-time buyer. It's a validated seller plus this kind of criteria. And so this is why, again, Gen AI, if you combine lead journey, conversation context, conversation content, Gen AI can definitely help you understand the intention and the stage, and ideally also help you jump in. If you know that, then you can start to deliver more value. And I'm just going to give you one example. I will stop here, I promise, is this kind of notification you could be sending. There's plenty more examples. It's just like, hey, Julia, I've just seen that you had a conversation since to Earth Marketplace about this rooftop 2-bedroom in Highbury. We know that this person is a first-time caller, very beginning of the search, but consistently looking at property in Islington up to this price. And if you click here, you can see even more insights about this person. And the more you will give to the agent, the more efficient they will be, and the better they can, and the faster and the better they can sell. And so the better you can support them, basically. And yes, this is what we do at Frisbee, helping marketplaces build this kind of personalized engagement at scale. This is it. So now back to the question, Jonathan. I leave you the floor, Constantine, maybe.
Brilliant. Hopefully we've got Constantine back as our moderator, who's headed through the questions. And Tanguy, would you stay with us and join the panel as well? And Konstantin, shoot. What's the audience asking?
Well, we have many questions and we have some really good ones. So there's a whole group of questions on user identification. So let me just pick the more generic one. So how do you actually identify users across platforms? And also, do you make them log in or not? So basically, the bigger question is how do you identify users to be able to analyze their behavior, entire behavior across multiple platforms?
Paolo, do you want to kick off on that?
Yes. I mean, this is another common, let's say, problem or challenge for any marketplace in the real estate. So obviously, it's our interest to show our supply without being logged in or registered. But obviously, in order to give you the best experience possible and also to provide all these other additional services to the agent, we need you to be logged in and registered. How to do that? For example, we allow to use some features only if you are registered. I mean, for example, if you want to save a search, you need to be registered, or if you want to save a listing, you need to be registered. So these are, let's say, the tricks or the way how we can get the user's data, or how we can link a behavior to that specific user.
Can I just add something in here? Rightmove did an investor day yesterday, and one of the stats they revealed was that I think, if I remember rightly, 42% of their lead submitters are now logged in when they submit leads. And they give a kind of range of examples of how they get people to engage to log in. So this is a big focus, particularly with the changes to the data privacy rules that are coming into place. And we're seeing some very, very effective login rates in general spreading across the industry. Stefan, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I mean, the first thing we do is naturally to capture leads. So we're a perfect lead capture tool, and people are signing up for that. Because in order to use PropTex, you need to actually sign up for the tool. You need to register for the tool. We don't allow it.
So you're actually a method of helping people log in and encouraging that kind of engagement.
Correct. As soon as you gamify things, it becomes easier. So you gamify that process, people register, so we have an OTP process that logs them in, and then they can start to use. So we actually track, which is quite interesting, because we track the behavior from A to Z during the journey.
And Tanguy, do you care about whether people are logged in or not, or are you a way of also helping, get that kind of engagement?
We are slightly more agnostic on this one, because we are obviously like supporting the marketplace that already has the flow. What I can say is, like, even if not logged in, I mean, it's better to have logged in user, but even if not logged in, there's already a couple of things you can do, because a phone number, an email, a thing that you can detect, if you can connect that to a session ID, to an IP, some client even use some kind of a Google ID, Google Click ID, to identify unique user, and then you can start aggregating a lot of things, even if they're not logged in. Then you can even enrich it better, but it should not stop you start doing things. I think still half of the people are not logged in, basically.
Clever. Konstantin, do you want to put another question up?
Yeah, absolutely. We have some are still coming in, but another popular set of questions is about fake pictures and fake properties. And what problems do you expect? Or do you expect a proliferation of those with generative AI on marketplaces? And secondly, what are the tools that you're seeing that marketplaces or external providers can utilize to deal with that?
Paolo, do you want to start on that one?
Yes, about the fake images, actually, I mean, it's hard to understand the size of this problem, honestly. But I believe that if a AI can understand if a picture is compliant with the specific listing, looking at the characteristics, maybe it's also capable to detect if a picture is fake, is completely fake. I mean, but actually this is a problem that we are not yet evaluating at the moment. We are maybe too far from that.
Stefan, do you have any challenges with fake pictures, or really you're just dealing with other people's pictures that are put in front of you?
Yeah, so we have actually, it's more and more demands are around this subject from customers. So we have a product actually that tends to read generated images. So we do the reverse of what we do. We detect what we do. So it's like a scan through the photo to see if anything has been altered. So we do that.
Wow. And how effective is that? I mean, is it?
It flags. Let's put it that way. It does work. It's actually very simple to do. So so we have that. We deploy that in CRMs currently, and that works well. Another thing we do is a language model that is trained on specific areas that reads what the data input is and what the description of the property is. So if there's anything that pops out that is not or doesn't look good, it flags it.
So these are the whole thing as a package.
Yeah, if exactly, there are some use cases that you can train on.
Konstantin, let's shoot for another question.
Of course. So we have another set of questions is about how generative AI or image editing actually helps agents capture more leads. So what's the mechanism? How exactly does it help? And there's a lot of variations of questions about this, but I think that's the key one.
So basically, what are the things you can do with images, and how specifically do they lead to more lead generation?
Exactly.
So maybe start with Stefan on that.
Yeah, so the approach we've taken on that is, you know, if you want to play, if you want to engage with a property, you want to open up your PropText companion or your buyer companion, you do need to register. So that's a lead capture right there. So we've taken that approach to say, we need to verify that you're not a robot using our tools.
Right. Okay, and Paolo?
Yes, at the end, it's always a matter of offering a personalized experience to the end users. So higher is the level of personalization, higher is the engagement of the user, and as a consequence, higher is the propensity of generating a lead. So, for example, what we are tracking now is that not all the users have the same interest on the pictures. So, for example, I'm a person who is more inclined to see first the living room and after the bathroom, rather than other people have a different approach. So what we want to do now is about changing the order of the pictures of every listing based on the habits of the users. So we want to, today, this is something that the agents do. So they decide which is the right order, but I mean, probably it's not the best or the optimal way for maximizing number of leads. So we want to take this part and to offer this as a service, and to being able to change the ordering based on the specific segments of the population. So we believe that, and we see also looking the data, that the pictures have a big role on the propensity of entering within the listing page, and as a consequence, higher is this conversion, higher is the conversion of generating a lead.
And interestingly, I've seen, I think it's Zillow already in its recently introduced featured listings already does that with pictures. So it will, for the individual consumer, I believe, put the best picture for them based on their behavior. So I can imagine that's going to be a very effective way of improving the experience and helping conversion. We've got lots of questions and we've still got a lot of people online. So we're going to go on for about another 5 minutes, ask a few more questions. So Konstantin, back to you.
Yeah, we'll probably have time for another couple of questions. A question about valuations, basically. How would the valuation through generative AI work? And would this be any different from today? Is there a space to apply AI generative
you're asking, so
valuations?
Stefan, does Gen AI do something different from current automated valuation models? So how can it particularly help?
Yes. So what we are doing is twofold. We are analyzing pictures before altering, so before playing with the picture or imagining your home. We check wear and tear. So if you have a kitchen that is run down or old, that gives you a score, which helps with valuation. So this is something known, and others, are using that. What we're adding to this is very, very interesting now. If you take a picture of a kitchen and you start to prompt the tool with change this, put an island kitchen in there, and put a marble countertop on it. Now, if you do that, you are changing the value of the home just by doing that. And that's where valuations come in, because you're preemptively putting your future value into the home. If you're looking at a home, you say, I'd like a new kitchen here. It's going to cost me $20,000, but it's going to bring the valuation up by 60K.
So this is not simply something that you just put into the valuation. This is something where you can also advise the consumer around aspects of what it might take to do X or Y and Z within their home. So again, you can get into an understanding of the relationship between the consumer and their interest in the house.
Completely. But by empowering the user, this is what you start to get from that. It's all this behavioral data that allows you to do all sorts of things.
Okay, brilliant. Paolo, are you also involved in valuations, or should I ask Konstantin to move on to the next question?
No, obviously we offer also this service to our end users, no, to evaluate the listings. But we don't see this area an area where we can introduce AI-based use cases. For two reasons. Evaluations have two sets of, evaluations. The first one is about the value of the home, which is a pretty objective evaluation where you don't need AI. The second set is the value of the status of the apartment or the house or whatever is inside. And there is very subjective, and it's difficult to trust to AI on understanding the value. So that's why it's a complex territory, and that's why it's not an area where we would like to start to invest on this technology immediately.
Okay, brilliant. Konstantin, next question, please.
Yeah, we've got one question for Tanguy here. How do you capture rich customer data, be it current or historic, that's needed to deliver the rich customer insights you showed in your presentation? How do you actually do that? How do you integrate those services?
So most of the time it's the full API connection so there are data already existing within the marketplace, and we have a full API connection, so we can capture a lot of things and aggregate them. And then there's all the proprietary data we're going to collect. And so we ourselves started as a conversation tracking solution. So we have the capability to get every data around a call, for instance. So when it happened, the recording of the call, what was said, the same with WhatsApp, understand all of this conversation. So it's a mix, I would say, data from the web journey, basically, that we will get from the marketplace, plus all the conversation input that we will track ourselves, and then the ability to combine all of this into what we call audiences. So we'll make sure that we transform all of this data into meaningful audiences. We can detect, okay, these audience are motivated buyer that have been missed or not attended by an agent. Okay, we need to do something with them. These one are comparison buyer, and we need to handle them in a way a bit differently, and etc. So and then we will share back all of this data again, the API to the marketplace, so that they have access to all of this also, and they can play with it, integrate that to the CRM and so on.
Brilliant. So we're well over time, but we'll take one last question. So Constantine, one more, please.
I've got a good one for you to finish it on. Do you believe the incumbent marketplaces are the ones most likely to fully benefit from generative AI? Or do you believe the leaner startups are more likely to disrupt the market?
Well, I think we'll start that one with Stefan, and we'll then give Paolo the last word. And we won't put Tanguy on the spot for that one. So Stefan, how do you feel?
Is the question if startups are going to replace marketplaces? Is that
yes, I think so. In essence, you know, who are going to be the winners? Is this going to be as usual? Are the legacy, the historic marketplaces going to be the winners, or do you think startups are going to disrupt this space with generative AI?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very, very good question. So if marketplaces start to adopt AI and they take the chance now, or they use this opportunity right now to take in off-the-shelf AI solutions, and they test them out, there's no reason for any tech startup to take over the business of a marketplace at all. They become a solution for the marketplace, but it's about adopting it. I think that's pretty much where we are. The market still forgives if you are. This is all brand new for everyone. So now is the moment, not in a year or two.
Brilliant. Paolo, do you see a risk that you could be disrupted? And if so, what would you worry about disrupting you most in terms of generative AI?
Well, I don't believe it's linked to a specific technology. But as any other marketplace, let's say the power of the marketplace is about the supply. And within this specific, let's say, vertical, it's not, I mean, build a strong supply requires cost, requires a lot of operational activities, requires a strong sales division. So still requires a lot of effort and manual and human activities. So that's why I see not realistic in a short term this disruptive new model that can, let's say, skip this portion of the story. So it's, let's say, it's not as simple as any other vertical. And maybe it's related also to the complexity behind the process and the journey to purchase a home. So I believe that longer is the process and lower is the frequency from the end users, lower is the probability that a startup without a strong supply can be a dominant player within this vertical.
So I started off by saying this wasn't a session about search today, but I just want to throw you back one question there. Do you think, you know, in terms of search, that a disruptor could produce a really interesting search that's fundamentally different from what marketplaces have today? Or do you think anything they did produce, actually the marketplace could match and you know, be comfortable? I mean, it's not that we've seen yet any evidence of anybody producing, you know, a search that knocks out the current search format, but it's obviously one of those interesting open questions.
I mean, I start with a very not optimistic answer. I don't believe that our specific domain, so the real estate, could be easily impacted on the search side. So any marketplace, for any marketplace, the discovery process is crucial, but there are two kind of types of discovery, the active and the passive. In the real estate, we are giving to the users all the tools in order to be really active on discovering. So we give you all the supply, we give you all the filters, and it's up to you to find the right mix and to find the right setup. Because at the end of the story, it's a matter of purchasing a house. It's a big investment. It's something that you do 2 times, 3 times, 4 times in your life. So you want to have full control on what's going on, and you know exactly what is the right house for you in the specific moment. That's why we want to offer the tools and not offering the answers to the end users.
And you don't see natural language search changing that in any way? You think we'll still be in a filtered world for a long time? I mean, you know, users are notorious in not changing their behavior. You know, they get very comfortable with brands, very comfortable with functionality. But do you think natural language search will change the way marketplaces do things?
I mean, let's see. Until the majority of the population don't use Gen AI for buying a pair of shoes or choosing the restaurant, I'm not worried about that.
As usual, homes will come later because it's a more complex,
Yes.
bigger, more expensive decision. I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you very much to the both of you. Thank you to our audience for sticking with us, because most of you have stuck with us all the way. Really good discussion. Tanguy, thank you very much to FreeSpe for helping us put these events on. Many thanks.
Until next time, until the next event, goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.